प्रणाम महाराज।
Is David there? David?
David?
Yes, Swami.
David?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay, we'll start. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Asato ma Sadgamaya Tamaso ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Aviravirma Edhi. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tam Agocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. May we be protected, may we be nourished. May we strive with energy and vigor. May our study be enlightening and not give rise to hostility. Om peace, peace, peace. Lead us to truth and not to untruth. Lead us to enlightenment and not ignorance. Lead us to immortality and not death. Let the self-manifest Atman grow in me. Om peace, peace, peace. I bow to Govinda, whose nature is bliss supreme, who is the Sadguru, who can be known only from the import of all Vedanta, and who is beyond the reach of speech and mind. Is he there?
Yes, David is here. David?
Yes, Swami. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we are studying Vivekachudamani. Vivek, as you know, to separate, to discriminate, to separate from what is, to separate real from unreal, to separate what is eternal from ephemeral. And this is important because in our waking state, we find everything is mixture. And we do not know what is real, what is not real, what is truth and what is mithya, appears as real. So before we proceed, we'll read from the complete works of Swami Vivekananda. Yes, go ahead.
But the idea of privilege is the bane of human life. Two forces, as it were, are constantly at work, one making caste and the other breaking caste. In other words, the one making for privilege, the other breaking down privilege. And whenever privilege is broken down, more and more light and progress come to a race. This struggle we see all around us. Of course, there's first the brutal idea of privilege, that of the strong over the weak. There is the privilege of wealth. If a man has more money than another, he wants a little privilege over those who have less. There is still the subtler and more powerful privilege of intellect. Because one man knows more than others, he claims more privilege. And the last of all, and the worst, because the most tyrannical, is the privilege of spirituality. If some persons think they know more of spirituality, of God, they claim a superior privilege over everyone else. They say, "Come down and worship us, ye common herds. We are the messengers of God, and you have to worship us." None can be Vedantists, and at the same time admit of privilege to anyone, either mental, physical, or spiritual. Absolutely no privilege for anyone. The same power is in every man, the one manifesting more, the other less. The same potentiality is in everyone. Where is the claim to privilege? All knowledge is in every soul, even in the most ignorant. He has not manifested it, but perhaps he has not had the opportunity. The environments were not perhaps suitable to him. When he gets the opportunity, he will manifest it. The idea that one man is born superior to another has no meaning in the Vedanta. That between two nations, one is superior and the other inferior, has no meaning whatsoever. Put them in the same circumstances and see whether the same intelligence comes out or not. Before that, you have no right to say that one nation is superior to another. And as to spirituality, no privilege should be claimed there. It is a privilege to serve mankind, for this is the worship of God. God is here in all these human souls. He is the soul of man. What privilege can men ask? There are no special messengers of God, never were, and never can be. All beings, great or small, are equally manifestations of God. The difference is only in the manifestation. The same eternal message, which has been eternally given, comes to them little by little. The eternal message has been written in the heart of every being. It is there already, and all are struggling to express it. Some, in suitable circumstances, express it a little better than others, but as bearers of the message, they are all one. What claim to superiority is there? The most ignorant man, the most ignorant child, is as great a messenger of God as any that ever existed, and as great as any that are yet to come. For the infinite message is there imprinted once for all in the heart of every being. Wherever there is a being, that being contains the infinite message of the Most High. It is there. The work of the Advaita, therefore, is to break down all these privileges. It is the hardest work of all, and curious to say, it has been less active than anywhere else in the land of its birth. If there is any land of privilege, it is the land which gave birth to this philosophy. Privilege for the spiritual man as well as for the man of birth. There they have not so much privilege for money. That is one of the benefits, I think, but privilege for birth and spirituality is everywhere.
So just now we have heard from Swami Vivekananda. Swami Asheshanji would say that people are divided. Say in India it is caste, in Europe it is class, and in America it is cash. So how much cash you have, your power depends on it. And another aspect is also there. That means how many weapons that you have, how much political or whatever, many kinds of influences that you have. But Vedanta admits that all these are superficial. In reality, there is no difference. That is why here also that basic principle is there. Men are made equally. The equality and fraternity. So that is underlying. Vedanta tries to explore this and tries to find out what is this that gives us that equality. There will be some apparent differences, but that apparent differences are due to various circumstances, maybe social, maybe economic, maybe political. Therefore, even a nation or a country cannot say, I am more powerful, so you have to follow me. Because each one has got that which is unparalleled, which is eternal. We all are manifestation of same divinity. The divine is one, and that divinity manifests in so many forms. Therefore, even beasts, animals, even lowly, they have also same privilege. So breaking of all privilege is the goal of Vedanta. That means it is not that everything to be broken down. No. At least we must understand it rationally and implement it. So that will not put under a pressure that one is higher, one is lower. Rather, we will honor all equally. So that is the goal of Vedanta, to find out that reality which is eternal, which is underlying all. And there we are one. So, as Vedanta says also, Neha Nanasti Kinchana. These differences are apparent. In reality, there is only one reality. That reality is manifesting in so many forms. So not to take apparent existence, rather what is her real nature, that is to be taken. And that is why we are to honor each and every one. Now we are in this, we are studying Vivekachudamani, as we all know, and we have completed up to 444, fourth. So the next one is Nididhyasana Silasya. So here what is the point of discussion? Discussion is, there are three kinds of actions. One is Kriyaman, whatever is being done. So it is because of Prarabdha Karma. We have three kinds of karmas. Prarabdha Karma means whatever we have done and it is being fructified. And Sanchita means whatever is accumulated. And whatever is future karma that we'll do. So we can see this way. We have a bank balance. So whatever we have done, we have earned, we have kept in a bank. Or bank balance or cash balance that we have at hand. And a current account, that means whatever we do, any business or something, we have a current account. And the business that is going on. So that way we earn, we accrue some money also. So that is, say we in from scriptural way we can say, it is called Sanchita, that means accumulated karma. And Prarabdha karma, that's being fructified or being transacted. And Agami, futuristic, whatever will come. Whatever karma that we are doing, because of that, whatever will be accumulated. So here, for a Nwara Brahman, Sanchita karma is negated. It is burnt, as it were. And for him, there is no future karma, because Samastam Praviliyate, everything he will merge in Brahman. So therefore, there will be no future action. So why he's even acting, he's behaving in this world and having his being? It is because of his prarabdha karma. What is prarabdha karma? Say, like, we can give an example. Like, I've taken an arrow and shoot. So that is beyond control. So it will go on till it reaches its destination. So that is prarabdha karma. So this body is because of our prarabdha karma, whatever karma we have done in the past, and now it is fructifying. And that is why the present incarnation or reincarnation, we say, is possible. So now we go to the shloka now. Nididhyasana silasya bahya pratyaya ikshati praviti shruti retasya prarabdham phala darshanat. Now we see something that even those who have achieved knowledge, who has achieved the highest goal of life, they are also doing some work. Say, we can see in incarnation of God, they are also behaving like normal human being. They are eating, drinking, and also interacting with people, teaching them. And sometimes they are also happy, sometimes they are not happy. We can see apparently. So this is what we see. Therefore, we must explain what it is. So first we translate what is given. One who is constantly practicing meditation. So nididhyasana, as we know, first is Shravana. We hear what is the truth from scriptures and from gurus. So what's that? Tat tvam asit. You are that. So there is a Shravana. Shravana means we hear our real nature. We hear about our real nature and real nature of this world. Shravana. And manana, then we cogitate, we contemplate. Huh? Contemplate. Cogitate also, like cogitation and contemplation, and say pros and cons. And then nididhyasana means like total merging in it. That's why meditation. Meditation means getting closer and closer and being one with it. So the person who is nididhyasana shila, that means all the time he is one with that truth. Shravana, manana, nididhyasana. So nididhyasana here translated as meditation, but meditation means being one with the meditation. That means object of meditation is observed to have external perceptions. But so the person who is all the time, they know that the whole world is one, or whatever is existing is one, and that self is me, myself. But such a person also have some external behavior. So this we see. Therefore, we can imagine that why it is possible. See, it is why this question comes. It is like if you go to sun, there is no darkness. So the person who has realized his or her own real self, there should not be any darkness, any duality. How can such a person behave as an ordinary person? So such a person principally cannot, because there is no duality. When there is no duality, how can he behave like an ordinary person? So we see it. That is why we need to understand how it is possible. So nididhyasana silasya bahya pratyaya ikshati. it is seen that they also behave like normal human beings. So how it is possible? Braviti Shruti Etasya Prarabdham Paladarshana. So what it says, the Shrutis mention Prarabdha work. Because of Prarabdha, they still behave. Apparently, he has no action. He has no even no reason why he should behave like normal human being. He has already united himself. So apparently there is no reason. But we see it in our life. Therefore, Shruti says it is because of Prarabdha work. Prarabdha, because already he has taken this form. Till it has momentum, it will work as normal human being. When that momentum is lost, then it will fall. The example is given like a wheel. If it is running, say, previously they used to have chariot. So on the way, the wheel would be separated. But wheel would run for a certain time till it spends its momentum. So till that time it will go. And I have also given an example of arrow. When arrow is shot already, it cannot be stopped. So this body is because of our prarabdha karma. And in a realized soul also, we find that he behaves like normal human being. It is because of his prarabdha karma is not yet finished. That is the reason. So, Brabhiti Shruti Retasya Prarabdham Paladarshana. Because we see that such things are happening, how it is possible? It is possible because of the prarabdha karma. We can see two classes of people. One is an incarnation of God. They take this willfully and they behave as normal human being for loka sangraha. That means to teach human being. But a sadhaka, an aspirant, he realizes by his own effort and by the blessings of his gurus and also by the blessing of God, he realizes in his own self. What is his real self? Such a person, we are talking for such a person, not for an incarnation. Though we find similar signs and symptoms in incarnation also, but that is only to show the example. So, an aspirant, when he realized that there is no two, they have realized the truth, but still we find they act like a normal human being. It is because of his prarabdha karma. And Shruti also says this. There is a Shruti, Tasya Tavadeva Chiram Yavat Na Vimukshi Atha Sampatse, Chandogya Upanishad. So, till he spends his prarabdha karma and enters into Brahman, till that time that behavior pattern will be there. So this is the meaning of the shloka. We go to the next. Why we are imagining this? Sukhadi anubhavaha yavat tavat prarabdham ishyate. Till one realizes sukha, dukha, or these differences, joy and sorrow, all this. So we see it. Palodayaha kriya purvo nishkriyo nahi kutrachit. So first let me translate it so that's easier. Prarabdha work is acknowledged to persist so long as there is the perception of happiness and the like. So a person gradually he merges in his own self. But till he merges, he leaves his body. If we find that he is becoming happy or not happy, so it is because of his prarabdha karma. Every result is preceded by an action, and nowhere is it seen to accrue independently of action. So now because we are observing how it is possible. It is possible that he has some work, past action, and now they are fructifying. Okay, Sri Ramakrishna gave an example that will that will explain what is being said. Say we go to sleep, and someday we might have a nightmare. So because of nightmare, say I'm running because somebody was chasing, and all of a sudden I'm awake. So I'm no more afraid of that person or that entity who was chasing me, but still my heart palpitates. So it means that delusion is no more. As of now, we feel this world is real. But for a realized person, this world is no more real. He is, as it were, awakened person. And we are still sleeping. And we see so many causes of worry, tension, and various afflictions. But a realized person knows that there is no two, because he has already awakened. So he is no more worried, but still his heart palpitates. Similarly, if we see somewhere that after realization he talks like normal human being, say Ramana Maharshi or any known realized self, how it is possible? It is possible because of prarabdha karma, like a awakened person, but still his heart palpitates. Because we see such thing, and nothing happens without reason. As in this world, we have time, space, and causation. There must be some cause. What is that cause? That cause is that previous action. Now it is fructifying. So that is being said here. Prarabdha work is acknowledged to persist so long as there is the perception of happiness and like. Every result is preceded by an action. So every result is preceded by an action, and that action produces a result. This is what we see. That means we can presume that if a person is happy or morose, that means it is influenced by his previous action. And that is why this prarabdha karma is conceived. So it is possible because of prarabdha karma, his past actions. So hopefully this is clear. Prarabdha work is acknowledged to persist so long as there is the perception of happiness and the like. Every result is preceded by an action, and nowhere is it seen to accrue independently of action. So what is being said? Because we work and we see because of something happening because of that work. So if we see some result is happening, that means that person did, or it is because of the influence of his past action. That is where prarabdha karma comes here. We go to the next.
Swami, forgive me for interrupting. I just
Yes.
had a clarification really quick. You used the example of Ramana Maharshi when you were talking about prarabdha karma, and that he had prarabdha karma, but we're led to understand that Sri Ramakrishna did not have prarabdha karma. Can you clarify this, please?
See, in the case of incarnation, Jatavan Iva, as if they are born, Dehavan Iva, as if they have accepted body. You know, it is incarnation is like a big professor. Maybe he is having a doctorate in science, but he comes down to the kids level. Whereas a kid is growing, an aspirant grows gradually and reaches to that state. But a professor is highly educated, but he comes down to normal human level to teach us. So Sri Krishna, like Sri Krishna in incarnation. So he says that though I have no work, but still I work for the welfare of this world. Nahi parthasti kartavyam trishu lokesha kinchana. I have no work in these three worlds. Because I am everything. But even then, I keep on working. So this is another separate kind of, say, incarnation is separate. But we can see that Sri Ramakrishna is dancing, singing.
The question.
Oh, dancing and singing, etc. But it is for the welfare of human being. They come to teach human being. So their advent is because of some cause. It is called from devotees. But we all, say, normal human beings, say, like, because we are in this relative world, so we see these two kinds of people. One is normal aspirants. They somehow, by their self-effort, by the grace of their gurus, by the blessings of God, they achieve that higher or highest state. So this is from journey from lower to higher. But on the other hand, we see some realized soul, they incarnate and to teach human being. That is why I separated. And that is why I said two kinds of people. So for them, there is prarabdha karma. But incarnation, they take this garb and behave like normal human being. So that's why it is different.
So, Maharaj, there is a saying in the Ramakrishna and the Divine Play. Sadhananda calls Sri Ramakrishna as Bhavamukha. So, which is basically
Bhavamukha, that's why he behaves like that. But here, two kinds of people. One is aspirant who is trying and reaching that goal. Whereas incarnation comes and he accepts this. So this is how it is explained, that's a different issue. But there are two kinds of like such realized soul. One is already realized, like from normal human plane, they reach to that high. Another, they descend down. That's the avatar. Avatar means descending down. Okay. So that's why two kinds of people.
So, Swami,
Yes.
so Ramakrishna is like the full professor with
Correct.
many degrees, and the others are like assistant professor, and they're professors, but they're not the full professor. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, like we are sadhakas.
We're
Aspirant.
like the students. We're like the undergraduate.
Correct. You can say, yeah. Undergraduate or maybe kindergarten.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Students at the kindergarten. Okay. So in course of time, yes, we'll reach that state. Though after reaching there is no differences, but still there are differences. That is why Brahmavit Vara, Brahmavit Varishtha. The Nwara Brahman, there is no differences. But still we find Brahmavit, the Nwara Brahman, Brahmavit Vara in a better sense, Brahmavit Varishtha. That's why even Swami Vivekachudamani defined Sri Ramakrishna as Avatar Varishta. That means superlative. Among incarnations, there is also he has graded, and he identified Sri Ramakrishna as the highest manifestation of incarnation. Brahmavit Vara, Brahmavit Varishta. So, how that can be done? It's only in manifestation. As we have just now heard from Swami Vivekananda, that manifestations are different. So, an incarnation comes, he teaches, and that's finished. Say like Pavahari Baba. Maybe, Pavahari Baba we can class with the sadhakas. And there are so many sadhakas. Tulsidas, sadhaka, and so many sadhakas. But even incarnations, they come for the good of human being. So it is like this. We can explain that like this. An incarnation who instructs and he finishes that work. So that is Brahmavit, knower of Brahman. And the incarnation who teaches in various ways, this is the way, you have to do this. Like Sri Ramakrishna gave example of 3 kinds of physicians. So one will say, prescribe the medicine, and he'll forget. But the second one is mediocre. He'll try to explain to the patient, my good man, this medicine is very good, you must take in time. And that way he tried to convince that patient. So he's mediocre, Brahmavit Vara. And Brahmavit Varishta means, if required, he'll ride on the chest of the patient and push the medicine down to his throat. So Swami Vivekananda identified Sri Ramakrishna as Brahmavit Varishta. That means Avatar Varishta. Ramakrishnayate Namah. So there is no difference in the knowledge of Brahman. How can there be difference? When they reach to the same identity, there cannot be any difference in knowledge. But difference is in practice, in manifestation. That's the only difference. Okay. So aspirants and incarnations, 2 different categories. So we go to the next. Aham Brahmeti Vijnanat Kalpakoti Shatavarjitam Sanchitam Vilayam Yati Prabodhat Swapna Karmavat. Say, what is the meaning here? If a person was sleeping and he was working, toiling and earning money, keeping for his future life, etc. But then all of a sudden he wakes up. Will he worry about that money? What he accrued during that dream? No. So that is Sanchita karma. Sanchita means accumulated karma. So a person who has awakened from this slumber of duality, of ignorance, he no more bound by the accumulated karma. So let me read it, then it will be clear, I think. Through the realization of one's identity with Brahman, that means one's own self, all the accumulated actions of 100 crore of cycles come to naught, like the actions of the dream state on waking state. If a person was working hard, accumulating money and resources, but all of a sudden he wakes up, that means all his accumulated wealth or work he was doing, it comes to naught. So Sanchita karma disappears when knowledge dawns onto him. Right? I think it is clear. Okay, next we go to the next. Yat kritam swapna velayam punyam va papa mulvanam suktotthidasya kintasyat swargaya narakaya va. Can the good actions or dreadful sins that a man fancies himself doing in the dream state lead him to heaven or hell after he has awakened from sleep? No, because that was in sleep, in dream. Similarly, if a person attains knowledge that united or not united, that that highest state where he finds everything is one, Brahman, the supreme state. So what happens? All his past actions are dissolved. It is example is given as a person who wakes up. So he no more influenced by his actions that he did in his dreaming state. So it should not be very difficult. So we go to the next. It's only the same idea in 2 shlokas. Now we go to 449. So the knower of self is also not connected with his future karma. So first is, it is discarded that knower of Brahman is no more connected with his accumulated past actions, because he is now awakened, is no more worried about what he did in the state of ignorance when he had idea of duality. Now what about his future karma? So that is being said here. Swam angam udasinam parigyaya nabho yatha nashlishyati cha yat kinchit kadachit bhavi karma bhi, realizing the Atman which is unattached and indifferent like the sky. So Sri Krishna is giving example that I have no work. Name parthasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana. I have no work in this world. Yet I do work. Nana vaptam avaptavyam vartmaiva cha karmani. He says, still I do work. So how the example is given? Yatha kasha sthito nityam vayu sarvatra gomaha. Like Akash, space. In this space, air moves around. So it is not stuck in one place. Similarly, a person who has realized one's own real self is no more attached with anything. And future work also will not affect him. Because he sees that everything is one. There are no two. There is no duality. So swam angam, swam asangam. He knows that I am asanga. Asanga means unattached. Udasinam. And I am not affected by anything. Knowing this, parigyaya, nabho yatha, like sky. Narslishyati cha yat kinchit kadachit bhavi karma bhi. So he is also not affected by future karma. So now 3 kinds of karma. He is not affected by past actions. He is not affected by future actions. But he has to wear out, or he had to experience the prarabdha karma. Why? Because it is fructifying already. And why this has to be admitted? Because examples are seen. After realization of self, still the aspirants live in this world, have their being. That is why we have to admit this. Okay, so we go to, first let me read the translation. Realizing the Atman, which is unattached and indifferent like the sky, the aspirant is never touched in the least by actions yet to be done. So though he lives in this body, he interacts with people, but he knows that there are no two. He interacts in light of self. So he is no more accruing the future prarabdha karma or future accumulated work. So this is what is being said here. So now example is given. Na nabho bhata yogena suragandhena lipyate. Now example is given. So in a pot, even wine is kept. But space is not contaminated. Say, that time, liquor, say like alcohol, is discarded. And even now, it is because it addicts people. So it is discarded. So suppose there is a pot and sometimes a drink was kept in that. But space is not influenced by that. So it is because it is not attached. Similarly, a person who attained such a state where he knows that there are no two, neha nanasti kinchana. So such a person will not be attached, and therefore he will not be influenced by future accumulation of action. The sky is not affected by the smell of liquor merely through its connection with the jar. Jar is kept in space, but space is not influenced by it. Similarly, the Atman is not, through its connection with the limitations, affected by the properties thereof. So though he works, the knower of Brahman, who has realized the self, apparently he is working in this world, but he is not affected by those works. As Sri Krishna. So Sri Krishna is again incarnation of God. But even an aspirant also is not affected, though they will be seemingly working in this world, but they are not affected by such work. So example is given this. Example of this is given. And like air is moving in this space. Yathakash sthito nityam vayu sarvatra gomaha. So he is unattached. So he knows that I am not attached with anything. Therefore, the future action will not exert any effect on the realized soul. We go to the next. So this is a bit, here some points are being clarified, and these are important. What happens to such a person who has realized the self? Is he influenced by his prarabdha karma or his sanchita karma, accumulated karma, or future karma? So now it is decided that he is no more influenced by his past actions. Why? Because he has realized the self. That is like a dream. So it cannot influence him anymore. Second, future work also cannot influence him anymore. Only prarabdha karma, till it spends its momentum, it will exert its effect, because already it is shot. The arrow was shot, and therefore it must reach its goal and then stop. So till he keeps this body, or the body is kept, till that time, this sanchita karma, the prarabdha karma will continue as it is. Okay, so we'll go to the next.
451. 451, right? You will ask.
Yeah. Now 450.
We did 20.
Oh yeah, 450. 450 you want.
One.
So Jnanodayat Purarabdham Karma Nashan na Nashati. Adatva Swapalam Laksham Uddishyo Usrishta Vanavat. So example is given. The work which has fashioned this body prior to the dawning of knowledge is not destroyed by that knowledge without yielding its fruits, like the arrow shot at an object. So this is the conclusion. Jnanodayat pura arabdham. So what was prarabdha karma before the dawn of knowledge? Karma jnanat na nashyati. Though the such karma will not get destroyed even after the dawn of knowledge, because it has some residual effect. So it must give you fruit. So that's why we find some who have realized the self, they also suffer. Some suffering also been seen. So that those karma, prarabdha karma, gives the fruits thereof. Okay, we go to the next. Vyagra buddhya vinirmukto vanaha paschattu gomati. Now another example is given. Natishtati chinatyeva laksham begena nirbharam. So suppose somebody saw, oh, there is a tiger, and he shot an arrow. But then he realized, oh, it was a mistake. It was a cow. But he cannot stop that arrow. The arrow which is shot at the object with the idea that it is a tiger does not, when that object is perceived to be a cow. It cannot be checked itself, but pierces the object with full force. So similarly, nor of Brahman, nor of self, though he has achieved the highest, but still he has to suffer the prarabdha karma out, and then he will merge in the self. Now, prarabdham balavattaram khalu vidam bhogena tasya kshayaha samyak jnana hutashanena vilayaha prak sanchita agaminam brahmatmaikyam avikshya tanmayataya ye sarvada sanskita tesham tat tritayam nahi kvachidapi brahmivit nirguna. So here there is a doubt is also given, but here let me translate first. Prarabdha work is certainly very strong for the man of realization, and is spent only by the actual experience of its fruit, while the actions previously accumulated and those yet to come, so previously accumulated, so sanchita karma, that will not affect him, and those yet to come are destroyed by the fire of perfect knowledge. But none of the three at all affects those who, realizing their identity with Brahman, are always living absorbed in that idea. Now, what is the, though he would suffer physically, but because he has realized that suffering will not touch him. This is important to understand. Though his body will suffer, but because he is unattached, it is like this. When you are driving, after attaining speed, what you do? Even if you say detach your clutch, but still car will run, though you are not spending more gas for that. So this body will suffer because this is for a prarabdha karma. This has come because of prarabdha karma. So body will suffer, but he will not suffer because he has already achieved that self. So this is important. So by the fire of perfect knowledge, while the actions previously accumulated and those yet to come are destroyed by the fire of perfect knowledge, but none of the three at all affects those who, realizing their identity with Brahman, are always living absorbed in the idea that I am Brahman. He has already reached. See, like, even if the palpitation of heart is there, but he knows that it is all, it's gone. Say, suppose a person was sleeping and a ruffian was chasing him, and all of a sudden he wakes up. Though his heart is palpitating, it's only apparent, but he knows that it is nothing. Like that. So, prarabdha karma, even prarabdha karma is also can exert no effect on the person who has realized the self. That's the point. They are verily the transcendent Brahman. So that is what being said here. Prarabdham balavat taram khalu vidam bhogena tasya kshayaha. So all three actions, sanchita, accumulated, and then future, agami, and prarabdha, all three are ineffective to make the person suffer. That is the point. I think we should stop here.
Swami,
Yes.
if I wanted to review this again, because this is really important topic, can I get it on YouTube? How can I revisit it?
Oh, it's there on YouTube. I can send you the link also if you want.
Thank you, Cheyenne. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
Namaste, both.
Yeah, see, like, let me just recapitulate. What was this? The point is, there are three kinds of work. One is accumulated work, karma, accumulated karma, like our bank balance. A bank balance. And then current account. See, based on current account, we do our business. And third is whatever profit that we'll earn. Say, for knower of self, the bank balance is gone. Why? It is like he has awakened after the dream. The future also will not affect him because he knows that it is all one. There is no work possible for him. But body will function, keep on functioning till prarabdha is spent. But all these three cannot affect him because he has already realized the self. Body may suffer, and with body, because he's already embodied, he may look he's suffering, but he's not suffering. Say in the case of Sri Ramakrishna, we can take this example. So Sri Ramakrishna was admitted, he had cancer of throat. So one day, Hari Maharaj, Swami, later Swami Turiyanandaji, came to Kashipur. And as soon as he came, and Sri Ramakrishna said, you know, I'm suffering so much, and so much of pain and this, I cannot eat anything. So Hari Maharaj said, is it? But I find you are in joy all the time. And nothing is affecting you. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, this rascal has caught me red-handed. Shala dhore feleche. Caught me red-handed. The rascal, he used to say like this, homely, used to Shala dhore feleche. See, we see suffering. Now, what kind of this? Say, suppose Sri Ramakrishna is not incarnation, an ordinary aspirant. So for him, there is no past action that will fructify later. There is no future that will fructify or accumulated and then fructify. For him, one can see his suffering. Is he suffering? No. He knows it is only apparent. So when you wake up from your nightmare, you are not worried about your accumulated wealth in your dream, and you are not worried about even heart is palpitating. It's okay. You know that it will stop in course of time. And in future also there will be no such accumulation of wealth, because you are awake. It means all these are dream. Is this clear? I think example of Sri Ramakrishna, that's why incarnation comes. To show us example, concrete example, how it is possible.
So there is a saying, and it's a Bengali saying, but I'll first ask the question in English, is that it's considered that, and it's a common belief, that doing japa actually burns our old karma. This is a very famous Bengali saying, "Jop kore shala porai purono karmer jala." So
yeah, like we are not talking about aspirants who has realized the self.
No, for aspirant,
yeah, when you do japa, that means you are cultivating that unification. You are one with your chosen ideal. Naturally, what you are doing, your past action also will be nullified, and future also will be good, because with this samskar, accumulated wisdom. So when doing japa, this is sadhaka, aspirant. Here we are not talking about sadhakas. We are talking about the realized soul. Says Sri Ramakrishna is a sadhaka. Let us think about it. What happens to him? Does he suffer? No. Even the body is suffering, he is not suffering. And mother saw one day that Sri Ramakrishna was running like an arrow. And he went, and then he came back after a certain time. And mother was wonderstruck how it is possible that that person who is weak and he cannot move without support, he cannot have even his meals, how he could run like this. And Sri Ramakrishna then told her that I saw a venomous snake was there, so I went there so that boys are protected. So this happens. Apparently they show as if body is suffering, but they are not suffering. That is why we see the realized soul as if they are suffering, but in reality they are not suffering. That is the point.
Swami,
Yes.
could you say again, so in verse 449, it uses in the English translation the word the aspirant.
449.
In my translation, it says in Swami Madhavananda's,
Okay, let me see, 449. Sorry. 449. Swam asangam udasinam parigyaya nabho yatha nashlishyati cha yat kinchit kadachit bhavi karma bhi. So, realizing the Atman which is unattached and indifferent, like the sky, the aspirant is never touched in the least by actions yet to be done. So this is bhavi karma, that means agami karma, future karma, right?
but what is it? It uses the term aspirant. In what context is that word used in this then? Because
Yeah, because, yeah, okay. Yeah, I understand what is your point. Here there is no aspirant is in original. In original, it is realized so. You are right. He's no more aspirant. He has realized. The person who has realized the self. Swaswangam udasinam parigyaya nabho yatha. That is why translation is very important. And this is the problem. Right? So you are right. He is no more aspirant. He has realized the self.
I had a question.
Yes.
Like Sri Ramakrishna did spiritual practice to get knowledge. So then incarnation willfully puts himself in ignorance.
Correct. Willfully, he pretends. He pretends. He knew his real self before that. Even if you read his biography, right from childhood, he had that samadhi. But whatever he attained, I mean, he knew his real self. But he had to show the way to the world. That is why he underwent sadhana for 12 long years. And not only one or two ways, myriads of ways. Not only in one religion, Hinduism, but he practiced Christianity, he practiced Islam. And you know how many? 64 kinds of tantras. He did except one. All 63 kinds of tantras. And then 5 kinds of Vaishnava tantra. Shanta, Dasya, Saukya, Vatsalya, Madhu. And then Ramayat, as followers of Rama does, as Hanuman, as Radha. He worships Sri Krishna as Radha. And he realized he is Sita. So all kinds of sadhana he did. It is not possible for ordinary human being to undertake so many kinds of sadhanas. But why did he do? It is to show that as many faiths, so many paths. And people should not fight that my path is only real. So to show that, he had to undergo all kinds of sadhanas. So it is not possible for ordinary human being to undergo so many sadhanas. And he took maximum 3 days to perfect one way. So that way we can say, that's why Swami Vivekananda said, Avatar Varishtha. Bhagavan Baba, his father of even God. That way Swami Vivekananda described him. But forget about it. Because he practiced as sadhaka, we can take it. And sadhaka, even sadhaka, when he achieves, he is not affected by sanchita karma, future karma, agami karma, and also not affected by prarabdha karma. Though apparently he is suffering. Because we see it. We presume that he is suffering, but he is not suffering. Say, a professor teaches kindergarten people. And he says, oh, see, there is a tiger, I'm afraid of it. But internally he knows that he is not suffering. Children may take, oh, he's suffering. Like that. So
Thank you.
anyway, thank you very much. Oh, we'll say a prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tatsat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Even Swamiji suffered so much. Even mother suffered so much. If you read their life, Swamiji came here and he is instructing his brother disciples what to do, what not to do. But gradually he withdrew. When he was here in the second visit, he withdrew himself. And he said, Prabhu Jai, Prabhu Jai. Oh, my master, I'm going. Enough is enough. This is all like a play. Now it does not inspire me anymore. So he had that idea. So mother, though as if she was suffering, but she was not suffering. These are play. So this we can understand through incarnations. So if that is possible in incarnation, similarly, a sadhaka also can attain such state. And that's the need of incarnation. Otherwise, such examples cannot be found. Thank you.
Namaste,
Namaste, Hari Om.
and thanks.